Hello everyone. I am utterly pissed off. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to gloss it up. I am pissed off to the M, to the A, to the X. I'm on Ave Maria Lane now, just by St Paul's, and I've had to walk all the way here from Westminster. There are no trains. I've not seen any buses. I hit a protest on my way from Westminster. I'm just crossing the road now. I don't care if I get killed by a bicycle. Wasn't very nice, was it? Might be German, young man, but I know what that word means. That's not nice at all. That poor van driver couldn't help it, could he? None of us have asked for this mess. Anyway, as I was saying, I got caught in a protest. Wow. I won't even go into details. We live in such an age now where I'd probably be cancel cultured. But anyway, after inquiring, did I wish to join the protest? No, I didn't. There's some scruffy, frizzy-haired oik that looked as they could do with a good scrub down with carbolic and some Lysol. I went, no, mate. He went, fam. Talk to me like that. Fam. And no, I'm not a member of your family, praise be to God. Yeah. And another idiot. Yo, come dance with me. No, I do not wish to join your protest. I do not wish to dance or to be danced with. All I wish is to be left the fuck alone. I nearly screamed at one of them, but you got to be careful, and there was thousands of them. They were like mosquitoes. And I've not seen a single 15 bus. Someone at the bus stop, I waited for 10 minutes at one bus stop, and I've walked on since, and the woman at the bus stop said, she went, I think there's something wrong with them. She went, I've been there 25 minutes. So, in the words of Albert Finney's musical Scrooge, this is not convenient, and it is not fair. I need to get some nice views. I got some good filming done today. Westminster Abbey, finished off with that. The upper galleries, whew, Jesus, they're proper on it up there with the no filming, no photographing. I got told off twice, so I had to, in the end, do it very discreetly, which has given us a very, put this nicely, very rudimentary kind of filming. I'll edit and botch them together. My mate said to me, there's this thing you can buy, it's a pen, it's a camera, and it fits in your top pocket. And my mate, you need to invest in one of them, Luke. So yes, I think I do. It was my mate who lives in the Isle of Wight that rang me to say about the bloody protest. I went, what protest? He went, there's all protests up by London today. He went, there's rail strikes as well. I went, I know about those, mate. I went, what protest? He got off the phone, and about 20 minutes later, I found out what protest, alright. Yes. In no uncertain terms did I found out what protest. So yeah. Dealing with a slightly fucked off London Luke here. Oh, I'm very angry, I'm very cold, and I'm very wet, and I'm hungry. My feet are hurting, and I need to visit the lavatory. Oh, Rick's a piss here. Sorry. Sounded common as hell then, didn't I? But it really stank of piss. That's St Paul's School. The bell tower is the only surviving piece of wren structure of the school. The rest was destroyed in the war. So yeah, I can't say exactly as I feel, because the wording some of you would not like if you don't like swearing, and I'd get a page ban. But put it this way, everything that can be called it has been called a word that rhymes with hunt. Remove the T and remove the H and replace it with a C, and you'll get exactly how I feel about all this nonsense. Anyway, guys and girls, I am off. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I thought a bus was coming, but it's not. But the buses, look, everyone that's come along is changing its sign to Can you hear all the beeping and whatnot? It's changing its sign to Tower Hill. So something's gone on. I'm just going to walk. So I may even go live. Walk through the East End at night. I don't know if that would be a good idea. Actually, yeah. I could get attacked or my phone taken or raped. Or graped if there's a bunch of them. I shouldn't like that at all. Yeah. We are annoyed, as Queen Anne used to say quite a lot. I'll give you some nice views and stuff. Well, might as well make the best of a bad lot. 76, yeah, it's everything's changing its thing to Tower Hill, so I have no idea what's gone on. If I hit there and there's something and I can't get home, well, I'm just sleeping under Tower Bridge for the night. That's where I am at the moment. Sorry if I'm grouchy, even more so than usual. I'm trying to restrain myself from swearing, but we are on hallowed ground after all. Oh my gosh, how pretty! The same could be said for our travel circumstances. I mean, it's shameful. I heard tourists saying, some German bloke, what is wrong with this country? Like going, what is wrong with this country? I can't get anywhere. I mean, what do you say to someone? Other than, like, you can't say to a tourist F off back home because they have every intention of doing so when their flight's due. And you don't want to make yourself look like an oik, and I don't talk to people like that really anyway, not unless they deserve it, and he didn't deserve it. I agreed with the man. This is something my mum tagged me in the other day. We are going to see it at night time. I'm just making the best of it really, what's happened. I've got some good filming done. Westminster Abbey. A lovely walk along the embankment. That's a two-parter, that one, because we've gone from Westminster Bridge to Cleopatra's Needle, and then from Cleopatra's Needle to Temple or Fleet Street, Temple Church. After that I got the Demon Barber, Sweeney Todd. His old barber shop filmed just off of Fleet Street. That's a quick one, that, about 3 minutes. Thought we was up for a ruckus then. So there's someone coming up behind you. Oh, I'd just be in the mood for that, I really would. I'd break every bone in that cunt's body. Sorry. Please don't anyone report this. I know I have got one that does report things occasionally. I have no idea who it is. If I find you, they will never find you, put it that way. Okay. And for any of our Jewish friends that are watching, do feel free to tell me to shut up and stop kvetching, as I have done nothing but kvetch today. I've tried a bubblegum or shit or something. Bracken House and the astrological clock's an absolutely beautiful piece. I've shown it before, photographed it before, but here we are. While we're here, we might as well make the best of a bad lot. I'm walking home now, so I have no idea what time I shall arrive home. I'm meant to be doing some explores on Friday as well. I have a most monstrous head cold. But yeah, we've just left St Paul's now and we're off down this way towards the tower. There isn't a great deal on this way. There is some bits and pieces actually. There's London Stone, St Mary Ab Church, the Hung Drawn and Quartered Pub. There's quite a lot. I lied. Sorry, I'm just in a bad mood. Our travel system used to be the envy of the world at one point. I mean, I don't blame these people, half of them, for striking. I mean, you can't expect people to to work for less than a living wage when the cost of living in the city has become so atrocious that it makes living near impossible. Still no buses. That's been 45 minutes now, I've not a single 15 bus, so there must be something up. I'm just glad I got out of the way of the worst of the protest. I think if you go into these situations with a real miserable, no-nonsense face, these kinds of people tend to leave you alone in the end. You're either going to get stabbed or just left alone. I'm hoping for left alone, but there we are. When you've got idiots wanting to dance with you when it's pissing down with rain and they look like they need a good bath and you wouldn't want people like that touching you. It's like, no. Dance with me and fucking empty my pockets while they're about it. We're coming up to the Church of St Mary Aldermary in a minute. That's another little one. I've not put that on yet. I've got quite a lot of material on my phone. I'll probably do those two on Sunday because I've got... Oh goodness. I'm trying to think now. I've got St Mary Aldermary and... Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Oh yes, St Margaret's Westminster. The Church to the House of Commons. Parish Church to the House of Commons. And that's a pretty good one, that. So what a rally's buried in there. This is St Mary Aldermary. That's one of London's lost parish churches there. I can't remember its name and it's so dark the plaque won't show up. But when I do put it on, you will see a 10-minute climb to the top of that. Some very short, quick views from the top of it for several reasons. One, because the church was going to be closing soon, and two, I needed to test the ground, shall we say, to make sure the damn thing was safe. Oh shit, I nearly ran out in front of that car. That person's bloody bike light. I feel like doing Old Lady Grantham from Downton Abbey. There's such a glare. One feels as if one on show at the Gaiety. Did I say? Don't know if I told you. We are annoyed. Queen Anne. Anyone watches a film called Ghosts, an old film, a black and white one, called Ghosts of Berkeley Square. If you like old black and white films, you'll like it. If you don't like old films, just don't bother. But yeah, I liked it. And it's got Queen Anne in it. I feel sorry for Queen Anne, in a way. Poor woman. She lost all of her children. 15 or 16 children she bore, and lost every single one of them. Miscarriages. She couldn't have a healthy child, her and her husband. Because for a queen, and monarchs, they needed to secure an heir, didn't they? This is the Sugarloaf pub and Queen Street. So yeah, Southwark Bridge over that way. We should be coming up. Yeah, we'll be coming up to London Stone soon. I have shown it before, but I will show you it again while we're on the tour. Well, we're not on tour really, you're just keeping me company, keeping me busy. I don't do many nighttime tours of London. I'm usually home by night time. I get out as early as I can on the 3 days I've got, get it all done in one great big bout, and then get home. But London is nice at night time, I must admit. I do like London at night time. Comes to life. College Hill. And just down there is the Dick Whittington Church that I explored last Sunday. You know Mayor Dick Whittington? That's the church he founded, the original church that was burned by the Great Fire, then replaced with a wren structure. That severely damaged in the war, repaired, and you've got what you've got today. But Dick Whittington's remains they couldn't find when they did excavations of where his tomb was located, because don't forget, in churches they buried inside and out in those days, and they buried a lot, because they didn't have cemeteries, so they filled up very quick. And every 100 years or so they'd take bones out, and as the gravedigger said to Samuel Pepys when Samuel Pepys wanted room made for his brother in the church, "I will have to jostle them along a little, sir, but I will make room for him." And that's what it was like. Jostle them along a little. And if you were, that was for people who paid good money for what we'd think of as a private burial. And if you were a commoner, you were out of your grave, it's revolting and horrible to say, but more or less as soon as you were decomposed. And your bones would end up in a charnel house or in an ossuary in the crypt. They didn't care about that. It didn't bother them. As long as their bones stayed within the bounds of their parish church, ready for Judgment Day, that's all that mattered to them. There's another church down there, St Stephen Walbrook. So no, it's a lovely church. That's one of the ones that Wren practiced on. It's a Wren church, of course, but Wren practiced on that church, as well as some others, with domes. Before he did St Paul's, the big dome, he practiced on several churches to see how the dome would go. And this ugly looking building is the Cannon Street station. It's not the prettiest building in the world. I'm not the prettiest sight in the world, so we're evenly matched, aren't we? But yeah, I don't like this building. I'm no fan of modern architecture, as you know. Thank you guys and girls for keeping me company on this walk. We'll be coming up to London Stone in a minute. Just pointing towards the road because I don't like pointing the phone in people's faces. It's not fair. I wouldn't like it. 17 London Bridge. So yeah, the buses are only going as far as London Bridge or Tower Hill for some reason, and I've not seen one single 15. Just round here is, oh, I'm not going in there because it's dark, but was rather St Swithin's Church, where London Stone used to be. London Stone used to be set into a portico in this church. When the church was destroyed, the stone was moved, and it's been moved several times. And yeah, but you know, the Tudors, back onto our Tudor theme, as we've been to Westminster today. Not the Tudors, sorry, I'm completely on the wrong thing. Welsh, isn't it? Owen Glyndwr, the Welsh freedom fighter. His daughter, who was captured along with her daughters, is buried in that church. They were imprisoned in the Tower. They died at the Tower. No one knows how or of what, but they died there, and that's where she's buried. And there's a big statue in there. But I don't mean it unkind. It's known as Smackhead Alley at night time. So yeah, one has to be a bit careful. Here's London Stone. It's nicely lit up. London Stone. Checking my flash for too long. Became an important city landmark in 1450. Jack Cade, leader of the rebellion against corrupt government of Henry VI, struck it with his sword and claimed to be Lord of London. Oh shit, someone just nearly got himself killed. One of them electric scooter things. And this is in Brow for people who are blind, of course. Yeah, it's Cannon Street Station over there. St Swithin's Lane. But, I mean, look, apart from all the rubbish, but look, you get a lot of amazing little architectural elements in London that just peek out at you every now and then. I've never noticed those before. I'm going to take my hat off and people will very likely laugh at me, because when I did that earlier, steam came off my head and some woman laughed her head off. She went, "Oh, you're steaming." I went, "Yeah." I went, "That's me." And she laughed. I went, "I don't feel particularly steamy at the moment." She went, "Well, it is very..." She went, "It's not that cold, is it?" I went, "No, but it's wet, so I've had to bundle up." She went, and that makes you sweat. She went, yeah, just to let you know. She went, you look like a Shire horse that's just pulled a big cart along. I was like, okay, I'll live with that. We're coming up to our next church, St Mary Ab Church. Oh, Jesus. Subway guy standing there smoking a joint. Good for him. He's a very understanding boss. Oh, well, his boss ain't around. There's St Mary Ab Church. Oh, that looks as if it's open. No, they've left the lights on in there. And that is the Royal Philanthropic something Society down there. The Royal Philatelic Society of London. I have no idea what philatelic is or means. Oh, 21 minutes. So yeah. Oh, this is the new entrance to Bank Station, and it has literally just opened up, and yeah, closed for the day for the strikes. Bless its little cottons. But yeah, a very plain piece of goods if ever I saw one. They don't make anything of any style or pizzazz anymore, do they? It's just, there you go, plain white box, bong, that's what you got. I mean, look at some of the Victorian stations like Charing Cross and King's Cross. Even some of the small stations like Plaistow Station and things like that. I mean, it's just nice. These things ain't. Nicholas Lane. And that's what you got, just a plain stone box. Give me Victorian architecture any day of the week. That was another church there. It's flats now. Bell tower thing, I don't think anyone lives in that bit. We're coming up to London Bridge in a minute. Well, I did good to just eventually start walking because not one single 15 bus has gone along. St Clement Eastcheap, just round that corner around there, which is never open. Ever, so I won't even bother. I'm not in the mood to be peed off by a closed church this evening. Across the road. I just want to go home. That's one of the women from Smelly Nellie Snape from the Bad Girls. I mean, remember the prison series Bad Girls? There was a woman in it. She just reminds me so much of my next door neighbour. She even looks like her. Smelly Nellie Snape. And they locked her in the cell and she went, I just want to go home. And the cellmates went, we want you to go home, Nellie. Yes. She didn't understand what they meant. They wanted us to go home because she stank. Shit, that's yeah, that was man nearly got himself killed. Just get out your car in the middle of a busy street, wander out into the road as one does. I don't know. I'm gonna pause you a sec. Just paused you while we crossed the road a minute. There's the monument there, and this building that we're looking at here is the old Syndicate Bank, which is now Starbucks, apartments and Timpson's jewellery and watch. Oh shit. Oh crumbs. Greg says, when you look at some of these places at closing time or go round the back of them, I tell you something, it don't make you none too keen to eat from them. It really doesn't. Not a single bus or 15 buses come down this way yet, so yeah. probably going to get you to the tower and call it a day for this one, I think. And then get myself home. I was going to go on one of the Uber boats, but they was really packed. Really packed. And I've got this terrible dread of being on the Thames at night. Ever since watching a very in-depth documentary about the Marchioness disaster, I do not want to be on the Thames at night. There's a shard down there, look. We'll be coming up to another church soon. St Mary Matfelon, I think it's called. The old Londoners would be quite proud of me. They knew themselves. They knew their way around by churches. I think that's where I know my way now. The old East Enders, it was knowing their way around by pubs. But yeah, we've had a bit of everything today. Been told off a few times for filming when we shouldn't. Asked to join a protest. Asked to dance, also in said protest. Told people politely but firmly no, thank you. Yeah. Train strikes. No buses. I mean, it was... But, believe it or not, I am moaning and grouching. I am peed off and I will ache a lot. But you make the best of things, and as I say, London can be quite nice at night time. I hope you enjoy the nighttime views. This is our church that I was on about, and this is Rood Lane. Not rude as in very rude person, it's R-O-O-D as in Holy Rood. And this is St Margaret Pattens, not St Mary Matfelon. St Margaret Pattens. St Mary Matfelon I think may not exist anymore. Yeah. Just going to pause you a sec. It's a guild service, because it's a guild church. This is Guild of Pattern Makers. It's a guild service going on in there, so filming for us at the moment is not possible. They did say I could, but there's music, church music and recorded music, and I will get copyrighted. I have shown that one before, and there's no point doing that. As lovely as it is, and I know you would love to hear it, and I love to hear it, there's no point doing these recordings of music anymore, because you just keep getting copyrighted for them. I mean, I had a video I put on, of course, several months ago. Look at the traffic, look. Video I put on several months ago. I forget what church it was, but that had some organ music in it. And I got the notification for that yesterday that been copyrighted. They've muted certain sections of the video, which was about 25 minutes of a 35-minute video. So, yeah. Wasn't much good to me. We're coming up to the Tower of London now, which you can zoom in. You can just see there. The church spire is All Hallows by the Tower. The original All Hallows by the Tower. This one was, parts of it are original, but it was severely damaged in the Second World War. But the original All Hallows by the Tower, my favourite historical Londoner, Samuel Pepys, climbed to the top of their steeple of that when the Great Fire of London was going on to see what the damage was. So he was officer of the Navy Board, wasn't he, and Clerk of the Acts and that, so he was in a official role, so to speak. He played a big role in the Fire of London, actually, did Samuel Pepys, going to the King Charles II and the Duke of York at Whitehall, and saying, because he'd seen Mayor Thomas Bloodworth in the streets, who was a good mayor in some regards, very charitable man, but a coward in some regards, because when the Great Plague occurred, he shut himself and his dogs inside a glass box in the mayor's office and carried on as best as he could. He didn't leave the city, which was more than some did, but yeah, he didn't pull his shoulder. And then when the fire happened, he basically broke down, because Samuel Pepys came upon him and said, "Why haven't you been pulling down houses?" It came upon me when he said that. He said, I have been pulling down houses, but we can't pull them. The fire overtakes us as fast as we can do it, and no one will obey me, because people didn't want their houses pulled down, because who would pay for it? And Samuel Pepys went to the king, and the king gave the order that houses must be blown up and pulled down on high displeasure of the king. So they were pulled down, blown up. They used gunpowder bought from the tower here, the navy. Pepys's hand again in that. He oversaw that. They bought gunpowder in, and they blew up buildings to create a fire break. They blew the buildings up and pulled the ruins out of the way, and it stopped the fire. And up the other end of London, the fire raged on until it reached the one thing it couldn't burn, which was the stone church of the temple. So you've had grouching, kvetch, history lessons, protests, strikes. You've had everything from me today. There'll be some quite a bit of Westminster Abbey material uploaded. I've done parts 1, 2, and I think I've done 3. I've got more. I've done some refilming today because I wasn't completely happy with some of it, particularly with the Mary Queen of Scots situation in that little chapel, because I knew about Mary Queen of Scots' tomb and Lady Margaret Beaufort, my lady, the King's mother, who's just behind her. But what I didn't know is that in front of Mary Queen of Scots is mentioned her husband, Henry Lord Darnley, that she had murdered, assassinated at the hands of her lover, Lord Bothwell. His mother is mentioned there, the other brother's mentioned there. Basically it's a dynasty. You've got the parents of King James I of England. Bit of an awkward situation for him, that must have been. Father murdered, mother beheaded, the mother that he betrayed and turned over really for in favour of Elizabeth. He did basically say screw you to his mum, Mary Queen of Scots. So yeah, when he became king, maybe he was doing a little bit of guilt fixing. One of the first things he did do was to bring his mother's body down south and have her moved into Westminster Abbey with a very fine memorial. In here is the abandoned Tower Hill station, Tower Hill train station. All locked up good and tight, righty-tighty. Very annoying, but there we go. Yeah, it's an abandoned train station in there. Over there is an entrance for a subway that goes under the road and would take you into the station. There we go. 33, I would just done it in about 35 minutes, so that wasn't bad. The Tower Bridge, you can see over there, and the Tower of London. So guys and girls, I hope you've enjoyed this little ramble along nighttime London with me. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you hopefully another time if I manage to get home alive. Take care all. See you all soon.